How's it going? So some of you may have noticed in my more recent videos, I got a new member of the family. This is Stella. Say hi, Stella. I'm gonna use your cute little face for clickbait. Yes, I am. Now, as much of a little bundle of joy she is, sometimes I need her to be busy somewhere else. So today, we're gonna make her a little robot friend. I'm thinking a little semi-autonomous thing that she can chase around the house. So, I went and got a little cheapy remote control car. This is a meme, right?
I got family.
She loves memes, just like her dad. This is already a chaseable toy. We just gotta make the toy drive itself. But let's start with a benchmark test on the fun factor first. Oh, she'll warm up to it, but seeing her initial reaction to this toy, I think it's got a fun factor of 1. She didn't look like she was having a lot of fun, now did she? So we got our work cut out for us. It's gonna be easy to beat that score. All right, let's get into the guts of this thing. So first, this flashy cover. Oh man, I thought that would break off easier. It's actually held together with screws. Wow. What do we got? Hey look, they use hot glue strain reliefs too. Seems we're working with a 4-volt battery. Oh, look at that. Got a bit of an interesting steering mechanism. Rather than a servo, they just have another cheapy little hobby motor, but it just runs it continuously and turns the wheels that way. I kind of want to open it up and see how that works. I have a bad feeling I won't be able to put it back together though. Screw it. For the cause! So I've sort of put it back together, so it's geared way down. The way it sits in the box is it can turn all the way to one side, and then it kind of just like bumps along on that gear. But then, once you go the other way, it catches and does the same thing in the other direction. And then that little thingy engages with this little thingy and turns the wheels. Pretty neat, or half-assed, depending on which way you're looking at it. All right, I'm gonna try and put this back together. Fingers crossed. By some miracle, I got it back together. So now, we gotta give this thing a body. We're still in prototype land, but I want this to be reminiscent of a Roomba, so it'll get along with its brother. Yeah, I got a problem. I went right ahead and cut this out on the laser. As you can see, we've got half of Yoda's face on here. I'm using up scraps. So these are where I can mount our wheelbases. This one, just shove the wire through. Oh yeah, that lines up all right. Now cross your little fingies for this one. Well, it appears that we need to cut a little notch in there for this guy and these little diddlies. So, kind of guesstimated it here. Let's see. That's just about as dead nuts as you can get. Look at that. I'm gonna screw this in place. All right. So here, we have the base of our Roomba. We've got enough clearance to turn the wheels each way. Now, I've cut more pieces out. These will go onto here, like so, to create a bit of a deeper wheel well. Then I can glue this piece on top. So, we've got our piece of wood with wheels on it. Let's make this so it can drive itself. To make this thing drive itself, we're gonna start with an Arduino Uno and a motor driver. The motor driver can take PWM signals and convert that into a voltage signal to our 2 motors. One for acceleration, one for steering. I think this is the lowest bar that we have to cross to call it autonomous. Now, yeah, it can drive itself, but only based on what I've programmed it to do previously. All I've told it to do is to go forward, delay, turn left, delay, turn right, and rinse and repeat. Can't do anything, smart. But this is for a puppy. She doesn't know that. Let's see what she thinks of this. Get your new toy. Sit. What do you think, Stella? What do you think? What'd you think of your toy? She's a picky one, isn't she? I don't blame her though. That was pretty lame. we need this thing to be able to react to the environment. So, the obvious next step up on the self-driving totem pole is line following. To make this thing follow a line, we're gonna add 2 IR sensors. The IR sensors can tell the difference between the white tile and the black tape. We put one on either side of the robot and tell it when the right one crosses, turn right. When the left one crosses, turn left. Easy peas. All right, Stella, come get your new toy. Stella, what do you think? This steering doesn't work very well. So, since we're at the beginning of this project still, rather than painstakingly try to tune out the problems, which will never fully go away, we're just gonna change gears entirely. Pop, taking the base off. I've gone right ahead and mutilated a Roomba and stole these wheels. And I've gone right on ahead and cut out a new base on the laser. This holds the Roomba motors from their original mounting pieces, just screwed to the bottom of the wood. And we're able to use the suspension. Pretty neat. Oh, and this hole is too small, but it gets this. Now, we're gonna need some bigger standoffs to mount our electronics, but I think it's worth the sacrifice. With our wheels placed like this, we essentially have tank steering. So, to turn left, we turn the left wheel backwards and the right wheel forwards, spinning the whole thing. And the same but the opposite to turn right. Stella doesn't care about the line follower. I got the secret sauce here. Stella, look out! Right there! Get it! Well, it's much slower with the Roomba wheels. Far less exciting. Stella's not scared of it anymore, but also, I don't think she really cares about it. Well, that wasn't a waste of duct tape at all. At least I know that this one line of floor is gonna be super clean. Well, it followed the line, but she's right. That was so lame. I almost fell asleep watching her not play with it. So for this phase, we have 2 steps to fix. Need to go one more rung up the self-driving ladder, and we need to up the excitement factor. I got an idea for more excitement. We're gonna take our old RC car wheels and tuck them up in here, held on a servo. Then we can get our nice, accurate, strong maneuverability, and then when we wanna go into hyper mode, just spin this servo, drop the wheels out the bottom. Let's do that. So I went ahead and cut this hole out on the laser that these wheels will fit into, and I cut this piece out. This piece attaches to the top of the wheels. I'm just gonna attempt to screw the servo directly to it. See how that works. All right. You know what? That feels decently strong. So I'm just gonna go right ahead and mount this guy. Hot glue. Okay, I'm kind of joking. I also made this little strap to hold it in place. Just like that. So now, when I want to deploy turbo speed, I just push that servo down. We can go whee! Now, to upgrade the self-driving capability, I'm going to throw a bunch of ultrasonic distance sensors on there. So, I went ahead on the laser and cut out these pieces that I can just hot glue the sensor to. Then I'll just use these as the new spacers to go in between our 2 layers. Just like that. An ultrasonic distance sensor uses sound to measure distance. Ooh. It does this by letting off an ultrasonic chirp and listening for it after it bounces back. Using the speed of sound and the time of flight, we can guesstimate the distance it traveled. Our little guy is going to be able to do this in 4 directions. Neat. Now there just seems to be one little problem. We got problem. I've been fighting with overvolting this thing since the beginning of this whole turbo mode debacle. I think 12 volts is too much for this thing. It smells a little toasty when it runs and doesn't run half the time. So here we have a 3D printed part. The battery seats in the part just like that. This battery is what's gonna power the turbo mode, and that should work a lot better because this is a lot closer to the proper voltage. Fingers crossed. In our loop, we're basically just running two functions. The scan function scans in all four directions and turns until the forward direction is longer than all the other directions. Then it goes into turbo mode. Turbo mode, it drops the servo and goes for a duration related to the distance that we scanned from the front sensor. How fun! Oh my. The whole time I was reprogramming this, she was trying to attack it in my lap. She wants to kill this thing. You're a vicious beast. All right. Here you go. What do you think, baby? You may have noticed that thing wasn't going very straight. So I took the old Roomba wheel off and replaced it with this caster. And it's a little bit off-centered, but it is lined up in the middle of the turbo wheels. Let's see if that fixed the problem. Not perfectly straight, but it's much better. And now you can actually see that our distance measuring is working better. Oh, and Stella's here to check it out. Get it! Get it, baby. Well, our next upgrade to this thing is largely software-based. We just have to add two things to the machine. First, it gets an ESP32, and then it gets a cell phone mount on the front. So, as I said, this update to the machine is largely software-based. We're using this burner phone to stream video to my computer over the local area network, where I'm using TensorFlow and OpenCV2 to do a object detection algorithm. Now, both TensorFlow and OpenCV2 are open source neural network type things that you can use in a Python script. This was really a stretch of my programming knowledge. It took a long time to figure out, but I'm happy to do it because this is a workflow that I want to use for other projects. So, a lot of fun. Pretty difficult. I'm not the guy to explain it. I actually found a tutorial from The Coding Bug. His tutorial made some pretty complex programming stuff very accessible to a dummy like me. And he's only got 5,000 subscribers, so links in the doobly-doo. So yeah, that is my stack, if you will. Phone streams video to computer using DroidCam. Computer runs object detection algorithm on the streamed footage. And if it sees a dog, it runs this link, and that just flicks a pin on and off on an ESP32 that I set up as a simple server. So let me show you this working. So as you can see, streaming from the phone to the computer, and it's doing its little object detection. It's doing its best guesses, which aren't great, but at least it guesses dog's good. Now this is very laggy, but it's okay. It's a puppy toy. As you can see, our LED is off. Now when we flip it over to look at the puppy, when it detects a dog, it flashes on. And it's very intermittent because it's checking every cycle and flashing it on if there's a dog there, but that's okay. I'm only going to give a small window in the Arduino code to where this will affect anything. Well, yeah, pretty cool, right? That's that. Let's get this thing finished and put together and let it terrorize my poor puppy. Turning it on. Stella, come here. Come get your toy. So right now it's set on a bit of a wander mode. So it just gets close to walls and then turns right or left. Oh, looks like it's doing a little dance. It didn't find her in wander mode, so now it's in scan mode. So it's just gonna spin until it sees her and then charge. Don't move, Stella. Yeah! That sort of kind of worked. Then it goes back into wander mode. See if she'll get in front of it. Oh yeah! Yeah, it's not the straightest thing in the world now, is it? You know, I don't think she cares about neural networks. Come on! It's the future! It's the future, Stella! Wow! That was fun, wasn't it? I think if we learned anything here, we learned that more complicated isn't necessarily better. I know I set out to make a fun time for the dog. I ended up making a fun time for me. So, I succeeded in a way. I think that the third iteration with the ultrasonic distance sensors was probably the best one that I got to. And honestly, I might revert it back to that and 3D print a case for it. I'm not gonna leave all these dangly wires for her to chew on. That's not something I want to teach her. But either way, this was a pretty fun exercise and a nice intro to neural networks for me. So I'm cool with it. But yeah, that's what I got for you this week. If you like what you saw, leave a good old danger. Think about subscribing, and thank you for watching.